Before we get into this episode, if you've been listening to Wind the Q and getting something out of it, we appreciate it. And if you want to support the show, we've got a monthly support option set up through the link in the description. If not, just listening and sharing goes a long way. All right, let's get to it. Every firefighter has a story that starts with the words, "I wish I would have." I wish I would have brought another pair of socks. I wish I would have packed a charger. I wish I would have kept some cash on me. I wish I would have had a snack. I wish I would have thrown an extra t-shirt in the locker. This job has a way of turning a 24-hour shift into a 36-hour shift. One call turns into another. A structure fire becomes an investigation. A medical call turns into a transfer. Storms roll through. Crews get held over. Somebody's having the worst day of their life, and suddenly your plans don't matter anymore. The firefighters who seem like they've always got it together aren't lucky. They're prepared. They've learned that comfort isn't a luxury. It's part of performance. Dry feet matter. A phone charger matters. A pocket knife matters. A bottle of ibuprofen matters. Spare pens, $20 in your pocket. That stuff matters. Not because you're planning to spend it, but because one day you'll need it when you least expect it. Tonight isn't about the biggest fire you've ever fought. It's about the little habits that make this career easier, the practical wisdom that never shows up in the training manuals, and the simple lessons that experienced firefighters quietly pass on to the next generation, because sometimes the smallest things make the biggest difference. Welcome to Wind the Q.
Boots hit the floor. Jump in our gear. Mask, gloves, door, screaming down the street.
All right, welcome back to Wind the Q, the Stories Behind the Sirens. I'm Lieutenant Dodson, engine officer here in Northwest Georgia. This podcast is about real conversations in the fire service. It's about the job. It's about the brotherhood and what it actually takes to make it through the shift. So tonight's episode is a little different. We're not tackling leadership or mental health or fireground tactics. Instead, we're talking about the little things, the practical advice, the firehouse wisdom, the habits, and the tricks that experienced firefighters pick up over years on the job. These are the things nobody really teaches you. They're usually learned after making mistakes or from someone who cared enough to pass along what they had learned. Tonight we're doing a roundtable conversation. Some are returning guests, some are first-timers, but all bring a unique perspective. So let's go around the table, tell everybody who you are and how long you've been in the fire service.
My name is Carson Murray. I was on a previous podcast. I'm a firefighter. I've been here for almost 3 years now, and I'm loving it.
Cool.
Travis Moore, firefighter. I've been in the service for right at 6 years now. First time on the podcast.
Hey, it's Ian, coming back to the podcast for the second time, making sure that you can actually hear what I'm saying this time. And I just celebrated my second anniversary as a firefighter.
Heck yeah, he's loud and proud today.
Oh, yeah.
All right, every firefighter eventually develops a routine. We do this without even thinking about it. You check your pockets before every shift. You know exactly where your flashlight is. You know where your gloves are. You know what's missing before you ever even climb on the truck. Those routines don't happen overnight. They're built one lesson at a time. What's one thing you absolutely refuse to come to work without? And why?
My pocket knife.
Okay. Why?
Multiple reasons. We could use it for emergency reasons. I don't feel complete without my pocket knife.
Okay. I get that. I carry one too. And it has to be like I have to have it or I feel naked.
That's it.
Say my glasses probably can't see without it.
Okay. That's
Probably my phone fast charger and my water bottle. Two things that I just can't leave at home.
your fast charger and your water bottle.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's what you need. What is something inexpensive that has made your job easier? Like, I'm not talking about pigs and huge items. I'm talking about
My phone clip.
Oh, gosh, this is
not what you're looking for?
This is going sideways.
Wow.
But okay, if
Reaching in your pocket would be very inconvenient.
okay, you are a fellow holster guy.
I am.
Yeah. I hate it in my pocket. Go ahead, Travis. What you got?
An ink pen.
Part of your uniform, got to have an ink pen.
Always got a pen and a clip for my extrication gloves.
Okay. All right. So when you're new, your lockers usually, they have an extra uniform, maybe an extra pair of socks and underwear. Like, not a whole lot in your locker when you first start. But the longer you do this, the more stuff you start accumulating. And a lot of it is related to our comfort, whether it's ibuprofen and antacid and some food, stuff like that. It's not because you're preparing for some kind of crazy disaster, but it's because you have experienced calls where you get stuck out there for extended amounts of time, or maybe you don't like what everybody else is eating. So you need to have something to cover you for that. It's because you have experienced things and you've learned from your mistakes of not being prepared. Sometimes you're soaked from a fire. Sometimes you get held over. We talked about major incidents. So experience teaches us to prepare for those days before they ever happen. So if a rookie opened your locker today, what would they find that every firefighter probably should have? What would they find in yours?
Well, I used to talk about fire grounds and stuff. For instance, like in my gear locker, I pack a small bag every day with a change of underwear, a shirt, pair of socks, and I also carry a protein bar, a plastic fork with a bag of tuna in there. That's what I put on the truck every day. Because like I said, you'll get stuck out there sometimes or whatever. Want a fresh pair of socks or a shirt, or maybe you need a snack because you're stuck on the call for 5 or 6 hours.
Yep, that's right.
I normally have a couple of those liquid IV packs.
Yeah.
So if I'm out on a long call and it's real hot, I'm not just relying on water. I can put a little something extra in there.
That's a good one. So everybody says keep extra socks. Why would we do that? Somebody elaborate.
You don't want to be walking around with soggy socks for an extended period of time.
If you get on a structure fire, your feet are going to get wet at some point, and it's miserable. Typically, our station boots are in the truck, and I want socks there that I can swap out because it destroys your feet. It's not comfortable. If we're not comfortable, then it puts us in a position where we're not as effective as we need to be. So some of those things are just convenience, just for our comfort, but I think in the long run, it helps us perform better. We talked about medications, ibuprofen, Tylenol, antacids, allergy medication. If you're going to be sick or you're going to have heartburn or whatever, it's going to be while you're here. Usually during a big incident, it's just the way that it works. Travis gets sick here all the time. The sickest person I've ever seen. But it's just having that stuff with you to help you. Keeping food in your locker. Like we mentioned, Travis keeps some tuna on the truck with him, and we'll talk about those little bags next. But having stuff where sometimes we get caught and we don't get to take a break or we don't get to eat lunch or whatever. Having something you can grab quick gets you through the day. So be ready for that. And Ian mentioned the hydration packs, the liquid IV stuff. That's awesome too. So let's talk about that bag. Travis brought that bag up. I also have a bag that I keep on the truck. And if my gear's in the locker, the bag's in the locker. Wherever my gear is, that's where my bag is at. And it's just personal stuff. I've got protein bars, a couple extra flashlights, socks, a knife, just stuff that I might need. I also have a tourniquet in there and some shears because we have the ballistic vest. They have no webbing, no Velcro. They have no way to attach some type of IFAC kit or, something for us. And I got to thinking about that. If we put that vest on, something's bad happening. So we need something. So I started, the bag that I have has some straps that I can throw on my belt if I need to. So if we were in that situation, it could go in with me. But that gives us at least a tourniquet to throw on somebody and get out if we have to. Is that going to work perfect? Probably not, but a better shot than having nothing. So I think those bags are important. If you don't have a bag, build one. Build it with cheap stuff if you have to, but have some of that convenient stuff with you. If someone got hired tomorrow, what should they put in a personal bag that stays on the truck? We've talked about some of this stuff, but if y'all can think about something else, I will throw this in, and this is probably not Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. I dip snuff. Keep a can of snuff in
I was
there.
going to mention nicotine.
Because if you get stuck on a 4 or 5 hour call in the middle of the night, and you will be raiding fire trucks trying to find some. Keep it in there and swap it out every week or two.
Ian's shaking his head for some reason.
He keeps one of them little shooters of maple syrup in his bag.
More than one.
Them from Cracker Barrel. Bug spray, sunscreen, maybe like some Gold Bond or something. I mean, if you were into that. But just some stuff to think about. That's all it's about. All right, so let's talk about something else. The $20 rule. Have y'all heard of it? I got one that has. So here's one that probably sounds a little bit old-fashioned, but carry some cash.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but just enough. Technology is awesome until it's not. Card readers go down. Vending machines may only take cash. Some restaurants won't split checks or they only take cash. I have give money to people on calls before. Just, not to give any details because I don't think we should, but have some cash with you. And one of your fellow firefighters might need a little bit of cash to get a meal through the shift or something. Have a little bit of cash on you. The $20 rule is a 10, a 5, and 5 ones. Keep it on you or in your locker or accessible. A lot of times, so the department don't pay for our meals. We actually pay for them, and then usually one person, and then we'll split it. Have some cash because everybody don't take Venmo and Cash App and all of that. So do y'all carry emergency cash for that situation, and has it ever come in handy for you?
Ever since I was a kid, my dad taught me to always have emergency cash in your pocket, and I keep that going a day, like minimum $20, like you say.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a rule that we have in my house, right? Me and my wife. I keep $100 behind my phone in my phone case, and I make her keep $100 somewhere. Hopefully, she forgets about it in her purse. I don't know if she always does or not, but I personally, because she travels back to Tennessee quite a bit.
Yeah.
And like you said, you just never know. And so I always make her keep 100 as well, and I keep some on me for that reason. Yeah. Not just fire grounds, but for life in general. Yeah,
absolutely.
Very rarely do I even have.
You need to step it up. Have you ever used cash to help a citizen or another firefighter?
Absolutely, I have.
Yeah, it happens. And there's also this, and I hope this never happens, but sometimes you can, it sounds bad. I don't know any other way to say it, buy yourself out of trouble. You can get in a situation, and it could happen on a call, where things ain't, you're in a bad situation, bad part of town, whatever. Well, stuff like that may save you. Something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start waving cash around, people leave you alone sometime.
We, at a past department I worked at, we actually responded to a call, and we come back out, and somebody was in our engine. And the guy was so desperate, he was just looking to see if we had any type of food, drinks, anything in there. He wasn't necessarily, he told us he wasn't there to steal things, he was trying to survive.
Yeah.
So in that instance, like you said, every one of us on the truck kind of pitched in. I think we ended up finding enough to, give the man like $30.
Yeah.
He thanked us, God bless you, and went on about his way. But he was so desperate in such a bad place at life.
Yeah.
He was just searching for some type of food. I mean, our cell phones were in there. There's iPads in there. None of that stuff was touched. Yeah. But he was raiding that engine looking for something to eat and drink. And
that sounds terrible. And we want to say, we want to judge him or whatever, but he's trying to survive.
Yeah, he's that desperate.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really hold that against him.
Yeah, and that was the weird thing. He was super apologetic, very nice. You didn't feel threatened. He kept saying, "I'm so sorry, but I'm out here trying to survive." That was his whole thing.
Yeah, that's pitiful. You feel bad for people like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so lessons that we have learned the hard way. Some lessons only cost us a little bit of embarrassment. Others, you never forget. So the fire service has a unique way of making you learn from your mistakes. We had drills last week or the week before, and they went good. The objective was accomplished, but I learned a lot in them drills. And we've talked over past episodes about after a while, you kind of start getting comfortable in your job, and you feel like everything that's brought up, whether it's training or whatever, you feel like I shouldn't ask questions because then I'm gonna look like they're gonna think I don't know what I'm doing. So you just kind of dial it back just a little bit. But to get out of that rut, you've got to make yourself uncomfortable and ask uncomfortable questions and put yourself in those uncomfortable situations. So some of those lessons come hard, but that's the best lessons. That's the stuff we don't forget about. So what's one lesson that y'all have learned the hard way?
I think it was just a lesson in general when I first started, still in my probationary year at the past department I was at. Just sitting there, there was about 15 of us in the bay. There was 3 different stations there at that time, and somebody was explaining something to me, and I think it just out of a bad habit, very quickly I said, "Yeah, I know." Not meaning like I know, like I was following him, I was tracking, but it come out like I knew. So he stopped very quickly, put me out there in front of all these people. He then, "Well, show me." And already being a grown man, I felt 2 inches tall.
Yeah.
And then I had to say, well, I don't know how to do it. He said, "Well, you just said you know."
So we talked about in season 2, episode 3, about those 2 words specifically. I know, and how, I know how you meant it, but we hear that a lot from people who, and I used one specific person as an example, and again, I won't call his name this time either. But as he finished recruit school and he come on the truck, and we would try to, "Hey, let's go train on extrication." "No, I know about that. I'm good. We just did that." "Well, let's go do some ventilation or some ladders or whatever." "No, I'm good. I worked over the other day and we drilled on that forever." It didn't matter what you brought up. "No, I know. I'm good." Well, then we get on scene somewhere and we need him to perform that. Couldn't do it. He didn't know. He just didn't want to be called out in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So I know how you meant that, and I know how you work, and I know that you're squared away, but I know can hurt you.
It can get you there.
Yeah. It can,
quick.
for sure.
When I should have just kept my mouth shut, obviously, and just continued to listen. Yeah. But, cause, I've learned a lot just with life experience alone and the fire service. That even when somebody mentions, even if so to say, you have a way of doing a task, I've told all the guys that I've been around that's new, no matter if you know the task or not, and somebody's willing to show you something, it's best just to keep your mouth shut and see, because they could teach you a way that may be better. You might have the better way. Y'all might be able to communicate together, or they just have a more of effective way. You could use less energy.
Absolutely.
Never quit learning.
Yep. And there's so many different ways to do the same thing. It's all worth listening to somebody else.
I have a similar story to that. I was probably here, 3 months. And I'm usually good about saying I don't know if I don't know something. But for some reason I said, yeah, I can to this. But I was up here eating lunch, and Swansea walked up. He was like, "Hey, you know how to build a Z-rig?" I said, "Yeah."
Whoops.
I'm eating lunch.
Yeah.
And he was like, "All right, you got 5 minutes. Go build me one."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay. Right now?"
Like you were serious?
And he was like, "Yep." I was like, "Okay." And I'm thinking, I'll just use YouTube. I'll figure it out real quick. And he said, "No phones." And I was like,
goodness.
All right. It was not built by the time you got down there.
Yeah.
At all.
That'll happen.
I was just staring at the bag.
Keith Clark used to do that a lot. He would spring stuff on you, yeah.
I don't know why I did that. Usually I'm good about saying I have no idea, but.
What's one mistake that every rookie can avoid?
Leaving your gear in the bay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I've never done that.
I'll tell you something to go along with that. Sometimes somebody else will move your gear, maybe not on purpose, and it will get put in the gear locker, and you don't realize it.
Or it could be completely wrapped in caution tape, a ton of caution tape.
And hopefully this is not something you're going to be asking later that I'm going to go ahead and say, but you're talking about somebody moving your gear.
Yep.
I was taught to put my gear in the way of your entrance to where you're going to trip over it. Like, There's no way you can forget it. But every night, you've been my lieutenant.
Yep.
I think you know this. Every night before I can go to bed, I don't care if it's 10 o'clock. If I lay down in my bed and forget that I haven't been down to the truck yet, I walk back down there and I have to touch everything.
Yeah.
I recheck my radio battery and I touch to make sure everything's there. I cannot sleep.
Yeah. No,
It is a routine that I've started since I've been in the fire service. And I can't sleep at night unless I go down there and touch my thing.
Yeah, but that's good. And that's what we talked about at the beginning is we all have routines or systems that we follow. Mine, I mean, from the time I wake up, when I'm coming in on shift, I have the exact same system every single time. And if something gets off, it throws me off.
Mm-hmm.
And I always did that too, where I set my gear outside the truck, but like I had to step over it to get in the truck until it got moved one day. And it's been years ago, but now it sets in front of my seat because I ride in the seat. So I have to, like, if I jump on the truck for a medical call and we take off, it's in the truck with me. And that's just, don't matter how you do it. That's one of them personal things, but know where your stuff is.
Yeah.
I was about to bring that up because I've forgotten my boots twice. Now all of my stuff is on the truck. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because it was in my way.
Yeah.
That was the bad part. I just stepped right over it.
And it takes time to develop your system.
Yeah, I do think that forgetting one piece of kit is a rite of passage. I still remember the first time I did it and came back to the house and my boots were strung up across the bay.
That'll
Across a
happen.
couple pillars. little love note on those.
That will happen. Very first time I forgot a piece of gear, I got moved from this station to another outstation. And we were at a commercial occupancy. And we were there because they were doing fire alarms, fire drills and testing the alarm system and stuff. So while we're there, we catch a rollover wreck on the south side of town. Well, on the way, I realized I don't have my helmet. Yeah. And it was a rollover. Like I knew battalion was coming. I knew he was going to be there. And this was years ago. Like there wasn't nobody going to let it slide. So we get down there and I end up wearing the driver's helmet. And that was just I never forgot a piece of equipment like that again after that. I did have the one time where my stuff got moved, but that wasn't me forgetting because I put it where it was supposed to be. All right. So we talked about things we've learned the hard way and we've tried to give advice for rookies because at some point you're going to screw up. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. And you're going to feel like you're the only one that screws up. But trust me, top to bottom, everybody does it. We all forget stuff or we miss a step or whatever. We all mess up from time to time, some more times than others. So things to keep in mind there. So let's talk about let's do some rapid fire stuff. Let's do it quick. So Ian, I don't know if this is going to be for you.
I feel attacked right now.
You teed it up. We got to hit it. All right. So what's one purchase every firefighter should make across the board?
Radio strap.
Okay. Carson's out. Anybody want to debate radio straps real fast?
Radio clip.
That's
I have
stupid.
my own.
That's
so.
dumb. All right. What's one purchase every firefighter should avoid?
Shiny new piece of gear that everyone says is awesome until you've had a chance to try it out for yourself.
Good answer. I like that, actually. That's a very good answer. So the slowest guy at this table is rapid firing by himself.
We had to make him look better at some point.
All right. This is a weird question. What's one app that every firefighter should have?
Either the ERG or the train company.
Okay. Both of those are good. The train one is a little more, it's a little harder to get cleared for and all of that, but it's a good app. IFSTA has some good apps out there. Some of them for recruits all the way up through the officer series and stuff like that. They have all that covered, so pretty good stuff. What is a habit that everybody should start tomorrow?
good hygiene.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that one for a
That
second.
is a good one.
Let's talk about that one for a second. So, if you're just getting into this, you're going to start living a third of your life with the people around you. Well, first off, you may like them good. You may not like them at all. But you still got to live together and work together and run your calls together. But back on the hygiene thing, take a bath. I mean, that is so... Don't be disgusting, he said. Take a bath, brush your teeth. Like, be clean. Keep your stuff cleaned up. I've talked about this before. I had a bedroom here at this station, and then we hired some recruits, and one of them moved into my bedroom. Well, as I was coming in, he was getting off shift. And I walked in, and there's underwear and socks on the floor. And I just kind of pushed it over in the side, and I thought, well, maybe first time, maybe he forgot, whatever. Come in the next shift, there's shoes, pants in the floor, and I called him, and conversation was not nice. Like, I picked up after my kids. I'm not coming here and picking up after you, a grown man 3 times bigger than I am. I'm not picking up after you. Get your crap up.
People can laugh, but that's a real thing. And
Absolutely it is.
I mean, I had a same thing. The prior department, I had a roommate where I had to go to the lieutenant about it because I would come in the next morning and the room just smelt bad.
Yeah.
And I'd have to wake him up a lot of times. I mean, that's like you talk about habits. I mean, there's another good habit: get up when you're supposed to.
Yeah.
But I would have to wake the guy up and then see him picking his stuff up and throwing dirty clothes into his regular bag. And it's not like he could not do better. Like, he drove a brand new truck.
Yeah.
Like, he just chose not to. And it got changed. He did move to a different room on his own, but that's just, you wouldn't think you'd have to tell an adult that. I mean, he was 26.
Yeah, I agree.
But he'd be in fire gear. We'd work out, whatever. He participated in everything. Good fireman. He just didn't care to shower.
Yeah. You got to keep yourself clean because we stink. We sweat. We work. Even if you ain't running a structure fire, but we're outside training and we're outside doing whatever, you're going to stink.
We're supposed to hold a standard, too, and you got to think about it like if we can smell you, patients can, too. I mean, we're here to hold a standard across the board.
Anything else?
I would say learn to make, I don't know, a couple meals.
At least,
you can be here for cooking. I mean, I can cook. I don't cook that often, but there's some people, they just don't know how to
do
it at all.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, I'll be able to make a couple of dishes, something simple. On the being out of your room. So we shift swap at 7 a.m. By policy, we're supposed to be up and out of the bed by 6:30. Make sure you're getting out of your room early enough, like Travis said, because that's a courtesy to the people that's coming in to take over from you. The opposite side of that courtesy is, and if there's a good relationship there, they may come in at 6:30 and throw their stuff on the truck where you're not getting stuck on the call at shift change. So it goes both ways. Don't think that you need 15 more minutes of sleep and be selfish about it. It goes both ways, so keep that in mind too. What's another habit that everybody should stop tomorrow?
Procrastinating.
Complaining.
Okay. Both of those are good. But if we're going to talk about procrastinating and starting that tomorrow, let's start today and not procrastinating anymore. All right, so before we wrap up, is there one piece of advice, one habit, one small lesson that nobody ever told you but every firefighter needs to hear? Like that you get one opportunity to spread your best advice right here. Go for it.
It sounds cliche, but just always have a good attitude. You can control that, so.
No, that's important. I would say make up your own mind. It's so easy to listen to everybody else and then make up your mind for you.
Yeah, I was just kind of going to go in that same direction, but every new person that starts or you talk to and you try to give advice to, I just say stay out of it. If you hear people talking about, oh, C shifts that, B shifts that, or this person, I mean, you might hear people, maybe they've been here 12 years, maybe they've been here 8 years, and I'm not saying they should talk about them either, but they've formed their own opinion. There's no need for you to form an opinion. Like, meet the person yourself, figure out what's going on. And so that's my advice to people all the time, is just,
That's right.
again, keep your mouth shut. Whatever you heard, don't form an opinion that off of somebody else. Form one on your own.
That's right. The fire service is the biggest pool of gossipers in any other profession. So yeah, be careful with that. Make sure you get good information.
If I could give them one piece of advice, it'd be always try and be the person other people want to work with.
Yeah, that's good too. There's this, I used to think about this a lot. If an officer was building a crew and they got to hand pick, I would want them to pick me. I would want to have done a good enough job that they pick me to be on their crew. So yeah, I think that's important. Be the person that everybody wants. And that's not just in your personality, but show everybody what you can do. Don't be afraid to jump in and work. And even if it's not fire related, we're doing whatever outside or inside the station or whatever, jump in and be a part of it. And
yeah, you can get labeled your first month, and
yeah,
you can stay on you for the rest of your career.
Yeah, that first month, the first year, you're building that foundation. And we talked about it where we get somebody here at this station, a new recruit, and we spend 6 months with them, and we learn how they are, and then we hire another pool, so they get moved to an outstation. That first time that while they were here, that is the foundation that they'll carry with them. Not to say some people get with a less motivated crew, and it tends to rub off sometimes. But still, you have that foundation, and that's usually at some point you revert back to that. Whether you change crews and you get with a more upbeat, motivated crew, and it kind of gets you back in that groove. But that first 6 months or a year, that's where you build that fundamental foundation. All right, so I started this thing with season 2 called Faith and Fire, and we just real quick, and we go through this, and I'll give a scripture, and we'll talk about it for about 30 seconds, and then we'll move on, but it just kind of getting that out there and tying it in. So now, before we wrap up every episode, spend a few minutes, we'll go through this segment. And whether you're a person of faith or not, these are good principles to apply either way. The scripture is Luke 16:10, and it is, "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much, and he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much." But it's interesting how often excellence affects the little things. Firefighters people trust aren't usually trusted because of one huge heroic event that they were a part of. It's because of how they act every single shift and how they carry themselves and their personality. And it's all the little things build up into creating you, as opposed to one singular moment where you've done this cool thing. And I think that's kind of what that's talking about. Don't worry about the one big, huge thing, but be consistent every day or every shift. And as it relates to the fire service, be involved, train, be a leader. Leaders ain't just officers. You can be a leader at any point, but how you carry yourself every day, that's what wins people's trust and their trust in you. What are some, and I'll just throw this question out, what's some opportunities firefighters have to demonstrate integrity every day? And we've learned since rookie school that integrity is what? Doing the right thing when nobody's watching.
Doing things without looking for an attaboy.
That's right.
Because the right people are going to see you at the right time, if they even need to. Or it's, like you said, it's going to come down the grapevine, so to say. But don't do something just to get an attaboy. Don't wait out in the bay till somebody's out there to do what you're doing. If you're going down there to do some personal training yourself, it's to better yourself and the community you serve. It shouldn't be for somebody to walk up and say, "Good job, Travis," or "You look for an attaboy." Just get out there and get after it for yourself.
Right. I like that. We always talk about people coming into interviews and there being a piece of paper in the floor, and they're watching for you to pick that up. Pick it up every single time. Don't step over it. But it's the same thing around the station.
Yeah.
If something's dirty, clean it up. You know, if there's something needs to be done, do it. Don't wait to be told to do it, and don't expect some big pat on the back when you do. Just do it because it's the right thing. You break something, I'll throw this in. If you break something, say you broke it. Because usually that goes a whole lot better than trying to hide it for 2 weeks and then they figure out who did whatever. Own up to your mistakes, and it usually goes better. I've never seen anybody fired because they wrecked a truck or they broke something. Usually, if it gets to that point, it's because they did something and then they covered it up and they, whatever. Be upfront and be honest with it. Own your mistakes.
Yeah, I think kind of what you talk. We're kind of on the topic. I think one of the most satisfying things you can have or accomplish to a certain extent, or at least for me, is when you get to a point where you come to work. Somebody's always going to be a higher rank than you, or most of us, anyways. But when you come to work and you go over what is expected of the day or what's on the list of training or what it may be, classes we have to go to, when your lieutenant, your sergeant, your captain don't tell you to do things that day, you might have hit that point to where you already know what's expected of you.
Yeah.
And you just go around and you hit your marks.
Yeah.
When you can be here for 24 hours and did not get told to do something, I think that's the most satisfying feeling.
Yeah, it is.
You've come in and you've met that mark. You've learned your lieutenant so much, your sergeant, captain, whatever it may be, that y'all figured it out.
That's right.
And you come in and you do your job and live in this station like you would at your own house.
That's right. And I always go back to like running a cardiac arrest call. And because we typically don't talk a lot. Everybody knows their role. They know what needs to be done. That should be planned out and discussed beforehand. Now, every call changes a little bit, but the basic principles stay the same. But you shouldn't have to go in there and talk through every single step. Everybody knows what needs to be done, and it's the same way around the station. I think if you spend enough time together, you know what your officer expects. Your officer knows what to expect from you, because that goes both ways. I have these expectations that I set out, but y'all have expectations for me, and you've got to know how that goes both ways. But if you make it through a shift and there's no, your officer don't have to tell you every step to take, that's a pretty good place to be in. He trusts you. And then he knows that you can go take care of whatever, and you may be catching those issues before he even finds out about it or needs to say anything. And that's awesome too. That helps that officer out. As a firefighter, in my opinion, as a firefighter, your job should be to make the sergeant's job easier. Part of your job. A sergeant, part of his job should be to make the officer's job easier. I should make the battalion chiefs easier. And it should just roll up the hill, taking a little pressure off everybody above you, and then things go a whole lot smoother. One of my favorite parts about the fire service is that no matter how long you've been doing this job, there's always something else to learn. It don't matter how long we've been here. Travis talked earlier about just the different ways to complete the same task. Maybe that's what we learn. Maybe it's a whole new task, but there's always something. Sometimes we learn best from a mistake. We talked about that earlier. Those lessons usually are harder, but they stick with us longer. Sometimes it comes from conversation around a kitchen table, just like this one. Hopefully everyone listening picked up something tonight that they can use on their very next shift. Maybe it's putting an extra pair of socks on the truck. That seems so simple, but I'm telling you, it will save your day. If I had an unlimited amount of money, I would buy socks by the pallet, and I would never wear the same pair twice. There's something about putting on a fresh pair of socks. Maybe it's keeping a notebook. Maybe it's showing up a little bit earlier now. We shift change at 7. If you're showing up at 6:58, that don't cut it. That is disrespectful to everybody around you. I don't care that you're not being paid yet. Whatever it is, don't just listen to it. Put it into practice. The little things, they have a way of becoming big things over a course of time. We let this slip and that slide just a little bit, and it always snowballs into something bigger. So thanks for listening to Wind the Q, the stories behind the sirens. Stay safe. Take care of your crew. Take care of your family.
Boots hit the floor. Jump in our gear. Mask, gloves, door, screaming down the street.
Before we wrap up, if you've gotten value out of this podcast, if it's something that you listen to, that you share, and that you believe in, then there's a way to support it directly. We've set up a monthly support option through Buzzsprout, and that link is in the description. Everything that goes into this, the time, the equipment, the production, it all adds up, and that support helps us keep this thing moving forward and growing. If that's something that you want to be a part of, we appreciate it. And if not, just keep listening, sharing it, send it to your crew. That matters just as much, but we appreciate all of it.